Chances are, if you hear someone say they want to be the very best, you answer with, like no one ever was. Especially if you're a Pokemon nerd like me. Pokemon fever swept across the world 20 years ago, giving us games, shows, and of course, the Pokemon movies. Which ones stand the test of time? Hit those like and subscribe buttons, pick your starter, and grab your Pokédex. I'm Chris Carr. Here are my top 5 Pokemon movies. Number 5. Genesect and the Legend Awakened. Genesect and the Legend Awakened was a breath of fresh air after the snoozer that is the Sword of Justice. The film is set in a very thinly veiled New York, with the writers even going so far as to call the place New Torque City. Stretching the bounds of the imagination, huh guys? It actually ends up being pretty cool though, because the battles that take place all of a sudden feel really familiar. You see Central Park, you see skyscrapers. It gives the story a real-world sensibility, and I dig that. Sure, the Mewtwo voice work in the English dub is terrible, but it's a tight story. Number 4. Pokemon 2000. Now here is the Pokemon movie I always wanted. A focus on the 3 legendary bird Pokemon. I mean, they were a huge deal in the game, so let's flesh this out in a film. In Pokemon 2000, Ash has to gather the 3 spheres of ice, lightning, and fire to restore balance to the Orange Islands. The best thing about this movie is Team Rocket. Never has the team been more lovable and more appropriately used. You gotta appreciate a story that listens to their fan base. Okay, at least they listened this one time. Number 3. The Rise of Darkrai. A Pokemon story involving the possible destruction of space and time? You had to know that I was gonna be into this. First and foremost, Darkrai is dope. A nightmare Pokemon? Yeah, maybe not the best lead for a children's movie, but I'm all about a Freddy Krueger Pokemon. The only real bummer here, the sequels just didn't deliver like this film did. Number 2. Pokemon, the first movie. The first film of the franchise, Pokemon the first movie, has got to be by far the most recognizable by diehard fans and human beings in general. This flick smashed box office records at the time and was like a little 90s love letter to the Pokemans. This film takes the notes you find while playing Pokemon Red and Blue in the Cinnabar Island mansion and turns them into a full-blown epic tale involving genetic experimentation and animal rights. Mewtwo, the Weapon X of Pokemon, escapes from the lab he was constructed in and is on a mission to free Pokemon by kidnapping and cloning Pokemon. Now, have all my choices included Mewtwo? Yes. Why? Because Mewtwo! And finally, number 1, Pokemon I Choose You. The 20th anniversary was celebrated with what I personally consider far and away the best Pokemon film to date, Pokemon I Choose You. This movie just got so much right. Who has 2 thumbs and grew up with the OG series? This girl! So, the film definitely hit all those nostalgia buttons for me. The story is a return to the series, where Ash first sets out on his Pokemon journey and does a great job not just retelling the story, but also in delving into important narrative arcs from the first season and providing actual character growth. A lot of the Pokemon movies don't really deliver on that, and I Choose You does that with emotional scenes between Pikachu and Ash. It's visually stunning, and unlike a lot of its predecessors, it blends traditional and digital animation really well. I had a blast catching this special 3D screening in theaters. And sure, they buttered me up with a limited edition Pikachu trading card, but I stand by it. This movie is fantastic. Of course, these are just a few to choose from, and with over 20 Pokemon films out there, I'm sure y'all have your own picks, so let me know which ones you love in the comments below. And hey, while you're there, go ahead and hit those like and subscribe buttons, okay? Thanks so much for watching. I'm Chris Carr. See you, Space Cowboy.